A very warm welcome to one and all, graduates and guests, families and friends. Today is a day of celebration, a rite of passage. My name is Peter Dewick, and I am the Director of Admissions and Registrar here at Royal Roads University. The university acknowledges that the campus is located on the traditional lands of the Kwasapsim, Esquimalt, or Lekwungen Songhees ancestors and families who have lived here for thousands of years. This land has been part of the fabric of the life of Indigenous communities long before Hatley Castle was built, and it will be long into the future. It is with gratitude that we now learn and work here, where the past, present, and future of Indigenous and non-Indigenous students, faculty, and staff come together. Now, those of us who work in my office are lucky. We were there at the beginning of your journey at Royal Roads, listening as many of you expressed doubts about your readiness to embark on this academic path, and watching as you gathered the determination to make it happen. Then we were there again, paying careful attention as you completed every step on the road, recording your every success. And now, it's our pleasure to join you as you celebrate this accomplishment. What you have achieved is nothing short of amazing. Many of you have been balancing the demands of your educational experience alongside family responsibilities and career obligations, and that's never easy. The time has come to sit back, take a deep breath, and enjoy each moment as we celebrate you and the work you've now finished. Today marks the 43rd Convocation of Royal Roads University. We are so pleased you've all been able to join us. Today is your celebration. Together we look back with pride at what you've accomplished in this phase of your academic career. And just as importantly, we look ahead with hope, knowing you have plans to use your newly enriched potential to create positive change in the world around us. Before we begin, I have a few points to share with you. First, on your way into the theater, you should have received a convocation program. This includes the order of this afternoon's ceremony and the names of this spring's graduates. Second, in just a few moments, you will hear the strains of bagpipes announcing the procession of the academic platform party. I will ask you to rise just before the piper enters the theater. Meanwhile, as usual, please ensure that all cell phones and other electronic devices are turned off for the duration of the ceremony. Also, we ask that you remain at your seats for the duration of the proceedings. Please do not block the aisles, as our graduates will clearly use these to access the stage. Thank you very much. It's always nice to have a compliant audience. So now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remain at your seat for the procession of the academic platform party. Ladies and gentlemen, please join in the singing of our Canadian National Anthem, led by Mr. William Constable.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you, William. I'm now pleased to invite Hereditary Chief Sinupin from the Esquimalt Nation and Asmanahai Antoine from the Nuchalnuth Toquat Nation and our Indigenous Education and Student Services Manager to provide us with a welcome to the ancestral lands to begin our ceremony.
Siemnas Yea, Siemnas Strelichets, Haishka Gwanzanatachel, Squelchta, Tungu, I Husapsum, I Lakongan Estelngu, Nahimet Sinupin, Nesne, Edward Thomas, Jalasin, I Husapsum, Squametlet Lestelngu, Haishkas, the Heatwisses, Haitchka Siems, E. Salelus, Atia Anuk. I want to start by raising my hands up to each and every one of you. Thank you for coming here to our land of the Esquimalt and Songhees people, the Lekwungen dialect-speaking people that come here at such a joyous event of the graduation of the students here today. My name is Sinupin, Edward Thomas, Hereditary Chief of the Esquimalt Nation. And on behalf of my Shwakwat, my cousin Chief Ron Sam of the Songhees Nation, just really want to thank each and every one of you for coming here today. And I'd like to take this time to share a little bit of the history of the Lekwungen dialect-speaking people, the Esquimalt and Songhees, our creation story. As this comes to just a couple of days ago, just down in the inner harbor of Victoria here, those killer whales coming into the harbor. Our creation story starts where there's a pod of killer whales out in the bay, and they started swimming in a circle, and they created a whirlpool. And as they created a whirlpool, they had to swim hard to get out, and as they swam hard, they transformed into a double dorsal fin sea wolf. And as they all got out of the whirlpool, then they dispersed out into our territory and beached themselves. And as they beached themselves, they transformed into a wolf. Then the wolves scoured the land looking for good village sites. And when they found good village sites, they transformed from wolf to the first man of our village. So that's a little bit of history of who Esquimalt and Songhees are. As you see on the breakwater, you see a lot of predominantly wolf heads along the top of the artwork that's out on the breakwater. That's our family crest, the wolf, but we started as killer whale, sea wolf, wolf, man. And then it just really touched my heart seeing those whales coming in to the inner harbor, because one of our village sites were right where the Parliament Buildings Museum is, but also east and west side of Johnson Street Bridge, our people had village sites along there. So the killer whales were coming to visit our village sites again. And that's just a little bit of history of us that I wanted to share here today. Is the students you've accomplished a lot the past few years with completing and achieving your goal today, graduating. It's just evolving into a new, stronger you to be able to walk in the future. Look to the person to the right of you, left of you. You never know, you'll be leaning on them again, looking for them for strength to walk through your daily walk in life. Coming in the future, building a better future for yourselves, for our future generations and our generations that haven't even been born yet. That's the heart and mind that we need to carry, is to be not only thinking of ourselves, but the kids coming up behind us and the future generations that haven't even been born yet. What can we do to make it a better living situation, a more harmonious community, to be able to look at each other, respect each other, honor each other, to be able to look at each other in the eye and say, yeah, we've got differences, but we've got a lot of same heart and mind that are the same, and how can we stand together and echo our message to be heard, to make a better life, a better community for us and our future generations coming up. And I just want to thank you all for, once again, sign of respect of our people as you raise your hands up, thanking them for coming. And that's what I'm doing today. Haishka, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please be seated. Kliko, Haishka Siem, Snoopin. I am really honored and humbled and proud, and I want to say that your father, late Hereditary Chief Andy Thomas, would be so proud. The next generation, we are very, very lucky that you were walking in his footsteps. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. Yes, give him a round. Railroads University family. I want to talk a little bit about family and community really briefly. My name, Asmanahai, means caring for precious ones. It comes from my late mother, Vera Thompson, from Toquot Nation of New Channel Lands. My last name, Antoine, comes from my late father, Eugene Antoine, from Saikas Nation, from Carrier-Sakani lands. I want to ask my Railroads University family, those who are holding a feather, if you could hold it up high in the air. Thank you. My goal is to eventually have everybody who's sitting on stage holding a feather. We've harvested these eagle feathers in Snuckwaila in the Blue Heron House about a month ago. our Board of Governors and our executive members came out and joined my family, and we sat and we harvested feathers, and we gifted them to a number of Indigenous students and community members. And as a symbol of connection, a symbol of staying connected, remembering why we do the work we do for the past, for the present, and for the future, a little small sign of reconciliation, of moving forward and stepping forward. And I think about that of all of the students who are graduates today, and thinking about all of you and saying, congratulations, welcome to the family. I look forward to staying connected with each and every one of you throughout your lives, throughout your careers. And I also want to say thank you to their families, and thank you for loaning us some students, some knowledge, and know that they didn't just come as themselves, they also brought you with them. And I now give them back to your families. Congratulations to you all, and again, Haichkasiam, Klako, Snutum, for joining us this afternoon. I also pay my deepest respects to Chief Ron Sam from Lekwungen Songhees Nation, who sends his regrets, but he couldn't join us today, but says congratulations to you all. Klako.
We are grateful to Chief Sinupin and Asmanahai for joining us today. Thank you, Haichka. It is now my pleasure to introduce our academic platform party, and I'll ask each to rise briefly as I call out their names. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chancellor of Royal Roads University and Chair of the University's Board of Governors, Ms. Kathleen Burney. The President and Vice Chancellor, Dr. Alan Cahoon. Our honorary degree recipient this afternoon, Ms. Anna Maria Tremonti. The Vice President Academic and Provost, Dr. Steve Grundy. The Vice President Communications and Advancement, Ms. Catherine Harold. The Vice President Global Marketing and Business Development, Dr. Pedro Marquez. The Vice Provost Research and Interdisciplinary Studies, Dr. Matthew Heinz. The Associate Vice President, Student and Academic Services, Ms. Roberta Mason. The Dean of the Faculty of Social and Applied Sciences, Dr. Bridget Harris. And the Dean of the Faculty of Management, is he here? No, he's not. So I won't introduce him. Members of our Board of Governors are also here, Ms. Maria Anderson, Ms. Elizabeth Bicknell, Ms. Cindy Brar, Mr. Nelson Chan, Ms. Lori Simcox, and Dr. Jennifer Walinga. We also have with us today members of the university's faculty, and I ask them all now to rise and be recognized.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for coming. I have been reflecting on some of the challenges that you graduates will face after graduation. I'd like to touch on only one or two of them and offer you a couple of suggestions for your consideration. The first challenge that occurs to me is how you can thrive in the face of emerging technologies. And the second challenge is how you can collaboratively solve problems in the face of increasing divisiveness, increasing social divisiveness. A few of the emerging technologies that could potentially transform our world are things like blockchain, artificial intelligence. Last month, the Canada National Science fair was held in Ottawa for high school students, and one of the high school students had invented a small-scale car that taught itself how to drive. So there's an example of AI. Human augmentation is another emerging technology. We live in an environment that is increasingly wired, sensor-filled, digitally connected, and we human beings are becoming that way too. We've moved way beyond pacemakers and smartphones, and now we are on the verge of having smart contact lenses, bionic eyes, microchips that will be implanted into people. We have 3D printing that will revolutionize business systems like inventory and supply chains, and maybe will revolutionize medicine. We have smart drugs, and when coupled with artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, genomic sequencing, it holds the promise of effective personalized medicine. Brain-computer interfaces may be just around the corner. We could have them as soon as within the next 15 years. Mark Zuckerberg famously proclaimed in 2015 that in the future, and I'm paraphrasing, and he was thinking about the near future, he said, "You're going to be able to capture a thought or a feeling in its ideal and perfect form and share it with the world in a format that the world can understand." So to put that another way, he foresees perfect communication of feelings and ideas without language, cultural, or technical barriers. Pretty amazing, I think. Another emerging technology is machine-machine interaction, what people call the Internet of Things. This technological change is nothing new. It's been around for the last 150 years or so in particular, but the fast pace of the change is what's new, and it will have profound effects on the economy of the future. In the World Economic Forum last year in Davos, Switzerland, one of the statistics that came out of one of the papers that was presented there was that 65% of children in elementary school today will eventually have jobs that don't exist today. For you graduates, this has implications because the job that you will retire from may not yet exist. It follows that we need to educate people for an economy that doesn't exist today. And we need to be asking ourselves how to do that and what are the best strategies for success. Consider a few additional ways that emerging technologies are changing our world and will challenge you in your careers. We are increasingly interconnected and interdependent. This has raised engagement with stakeholders and made us think about how information is acquired, accessed, consumed, misused, and protected. One result of these concerns in Europe has been the EU's recent new General Data Protection Regulation. And you've probably all had the little boxes popping up on all your apps as international companies attempt to comply with the new regulation. These concerns are captured in a truism of this decade, which is that machines can be programmed to do the next thing right, but only humans can figure out what the next right thing is. Other challenges from emerging technologies. Technology has made the world transparent. It's possible now for everyone to know everything. Everyone can find out whether Joe Fresh clothing sold in Canada was made in an unsafe sweatshop in Bangladesh. Everyone can figure out the spill record of the Kinder Morgan pipeline company. New ways of communicating are needed, and a higher level of accountability is demanded, and an elevated approach to leadership with a deeper focus on trust and human connection. Apart from the challenge of emerging technologies, we have the issue of collaborative problem solving in the midst of increasing social divisiveness. The problems of today are tough and complex. They will only be solved through collaboration. Although we can connect with each other faster and more easily than ever, there are still many tensions that are capable of dividing us. Examples abound in the media, and two recent ones are Brexit and the divided states of America under President Donald Trump. After the election, some scientists at MIT Media Lab mapped connections on social media and described the online world as follows: one balkanized by ideology and issue interest, with little potential for information flow between the online cocoons. How can you thrive in your careers despite these sorts of challenges? I humbly offer you a few suggestions for your consideration. They are not standalone solutions. The lines between them are blurry. The first is lifelong learning. You already have figured out that automation will end jobs, but not work. The quest for you is to determine which jobs can be automated, how and to what extent, and how will that change the way that we work? Answering these questions requires innovative thinking and continuous learning, so you can keep up with technological change and even aim to be ahead of the curve. The next suggestion is to develop your soft skills. We've tried to teach those to you at Royal Roads, and it's important that you keep them sharp and use them. Every day we hear that employers need problem solvers, people with creative skills, high emotional intelligence. It's true that you need to be a good communicator, but I wouldn't limit that to human-human interaction. I would add human-machine interaction. These soft skills are also the hardest skills to find, but the ones that are most necessary if you are going to build organizations that will endure. The next suggestion is to reimagine leadership and do more and better collaboration. I suggest you need to give and receive feedback. Collaborate widely to tackle change. Collaborate not only with the people that are like you, that you're comfortable with, but seek out people from diverse fields and diverse backgrounds and collaborate with them. Leverage decentralized decision-making. Foster a sense of inclusiveness and develop meaningful relationships with others. Keep in mind that the solitary genius is a myth. It may have been true once, but if it ever was, it was long ago. In an era of ever-increasing technological change, working together is the best way to move forward. The exchange of ideas can be a uniting force. Every day we see examples of people collectively using social media platforms to support people in need, to shine a light on injustice, and to try to improve the state of the world. When I was a young graduate, I was told many times that chance favors the prepared mind, and that I should devote myself to meticulous preparation in all of my work. But I think the better saying for today is that chance favors the connected mind. In an era characterized by emerging technologies and social divisiveness and all the uncertainty that are spawned by those, you need to create environments where people can collaborate on big ideas. Can collaborate and big ideas can coalesce. And my last suggestion for you is to work on your trust-building skills. As we become more interconnected and more interdependent, building trust is more important than ever. Lack of trust creates risk. and I'll give you an example of why I believe that that's true. Consider President Trump's recent announcement that the US is pulling out of the 3-year Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, also known as the Iran Nuclear Accord. His announcement came just before the president flew to Singapore to seek a nuclear non-proliferation agreement with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Ask yourself whether North Korea is more or less likely to trust that the Americans will abide by the terms of any agreement that may result from their negotiations, in view of the fact that the Americans pulled the plug on the Iran nuclear accord that they worked so hard to obtain. Does that pullout increase or decrease the nuclear threat to the world? I suggest to you that trust and success go hand in hand. But getting and keeping trust is harder in the digital era. Whatever the organization, it must establish a strong purpose that must be reflected in its values, culture, and behavior. And today, people need to fully grasp the ethical and moral implications of their decisions and communicate their actions with integrity. I hope you will reflect on these challenges and suggested solutions when you go back to your workplace and recommence your careers. Congratulations to you on attaining your degrees. You have earned them, and you've worked hard to do it. I wish you happiness and prosperity in all of your endeavors.
Good afternoon. This is a special occasion. I want to congratulate the graduates, their family and friends who are here to celebrate that. And thank you, Chancellor, for your challenging remarks and reminders. We don't share speeches in the beginning, but you'll see some commonalities of things that we both think are important. And since this is an educational experience, we want to give the last chance to give you some words of advice. Not that you need them, but it makes us feel better if we give them. I want to thank Hereditary Chief Ed Thomas for his welcome and story to put in context of what this land is about. It is important that we're on traditional territories, the Lekwungen-speaking people, the Lekwungen and the Esquimalt, or Songhees and the Esquimalt nations. And being at Royal Roads and being on the lagoon, the place is important for our learning, and the opportunity to be in that environment and know that there's traditions and experiences that are part of that is very important to our learning. 23 years ago, the founders of Royal Roads University had a vision to connect people, ideas, experiences, and cultures to change lives, to change communities, and to change the world. They wanted to build something entirely new on the educational landscape. They wanted to create an accessible learning environment where interdisciplinary innovation would flourish. And they invited you to create it with them as students, as learners. And at Convocation, we celebrate this achievement. We celebrate how the university's vision and your vision for the future come together. From the time you wrote your application to attend Royal Roads, to your late nights in residencies, to this moment, your vision and your achievements have been part of the fabric of the university. Your entire journey and what you do next are essential to the ideas of what we call Royal Roads University, which is a university to respond to the needs and demands of today. When you are on your path of personal and academic learning, we learned from you and we were inspired by you. Presence of the faculty today is a reflection of their pride in your success. Today we recognize over 800 graduates from the Faculty of Management, the Faculty of Applied and Social Sciences, and the College of Interdisciplinary Studies. Convocation makes a time for all of us to reflect on our path. Where are we on our journey? In the early days, Royal Roads as a university had something to prove as this experiment, if you like. We set out how to show it how a transformative education can happen right at home and at the right time for students in their personal and professional lives. That education of value comes when people are most open to that opportunity and that need. We wanted to open the doors of education to courageous people with the potential to make positive change in their worlds and in their lives. We wanted to create an inclusive environment that not only accepts but embraces student life experience and how that informs what we learn. In order to do that, we had to dismantle some of the tradition-bound structures of privilege in the academy that benefit few and exclude many. Learning is a challenge and an opportunity that clearly makes a difference in our world. We pioneered the blended learning model of post-secondary education in Canada, and we showed the impact of accessible, collaborative learning and applied research. We confirmed and reinforced Royal Roads' value as a different kind of university, more relevant to the world we live in, more responsive to the needs of our learners. Now that upstart energy of a young organization has changed. Over these past 23 years, it's been transformed into the kind of confidence and maturity that comes from hard-won success. And I imagine you, having succeeded in your programs, feel something like that now, the value of the achievement of efforts towards where you wanted to go. When you look back on the journey that brought you here today, what did you have to prove? What was it that motivated you to work so hard? What was that vision of where you wanted to go and how education could help you get there? It is the same today. Or maybe those goalposts have moved a little further ahead for you. At Royal Roads, we frequently look to the original vision of the university and ask ourselves, are we there yet? What more can we do to create the inclusive learning environment that we were aiming to be from the beginning? Well, we continue to learn and listen more intentionally to what our Indigenous community members and partners have to say. And we strive to foster the best possible environment for personal and systemic reconciliation to flourish. We're putting into action in a number of ways, including a partnership with the First Nations Technology Council and also the Kitsillas First Nation to deliver programs right in Indigenous students' home communities. Just 2 weeks ago, we signed an historic agreement with the Songhees Nation related to the Royal Roads property, which may become part of the Songhees' future treaty settlement lands. And at Royal Roads, we take our diversity statement to heart, yet we acknowledge we have a ways to go, still in the journey. Do we advance women as far and as fast as men in our organizations? Do LGBTQ and racialized faculty, staff, and students feel safe, included, and equal on campus? It is an important journey we are on, and we have not yet fully arrived at a fully inclusive place. We understand that diversity means inviting people to the party, or the meeting, or the conference. First step. Inclusion is a second step, is asking them to participate, to dance, to be part of the conference or the event. But equality occurs when we recognize it's also their party, their conference, and their meeting. We know that education is personally transformative. Every one of us has experienced or witnessed the power of education to change individual lives. We'll hear more of that today. Education is empowerment, and that begins with discovering not only who we are, but who we could become when we are free to explore our potential, free from discrimination. Lifelong learning creates new ideas, creates critical thinkers, creates change makers, and is the #1 enemy of bigotry, xenophobia, and the antidote for inequality. We learn from recognizing and accepting different views, different perspectives, valuing differences in experiences and practices. We learn from moving outside our comfort zone and listening to other people and sharing that learning experience. But none of this can happen until we dismantle not only the structures and implicit bias that insulates us from experience, values, and opinions of others. From my point of view, universities have a critical role to support equality, diversity, and inclusion in our lives, in our institutions, in our communities, and in our nations. And through that inclusion, we then learn to respect and trust other people, and we learn to live together. I think we owe it to the public that supports our colleges and universities to do more than just talk about it, or worse, just to be silent. As proponents of critical thinking, we need to turn the lens back to our own organizations and our own lives and ask, what can we do better than what we've been doing? It's more than rhetoric, it's more than words, it's what we have to do. And we look at the events that occur today in the world around us, and we're reminded that we need to have motivated people who care and know how to put ideas into actions more than ever before. People with passion, people with values, people with understanding, people with commitment for change. So, where we are with railroads, well, the proof of the vision of railroads is you and what you do with your learning. Where you take what you've learned and where you place it is your choice. It's only through that action that we see that we've had an impact. So I'd challenge you to tap into that original vision that got you started towards railroads and the motivation that kept you here as you earned your credential, and now use that to make a difference in the world. The world needs you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Cahoon. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for us to hear greetings from the Government of British Columbia. The Honourable Melanie Mark, Minister of Advanced Education, Skills and Training, sends her regrets and asked me to pass along the following message. Dear friends, it is my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to everyone here today. I wish I could be with you in person to celebrate your graduation. It is important to acknowledge that the 43rd Convocation ceremony is taking place on the territory of the Lekwungen-speaking peoples, the Songhees, and Esquimalt nations. I would like to give a big shout out to all of the graduates today. You did it. All of you have worked incredibly hard and made incredible sacrifices to graduate. You should be very proud of your accomplishments. The experiences and personal growth during your studies will last a lifetime. Family, friends, and colleagues have supported many of you on your educational pathway. I know firsthand what it takes to accomplish academic goals while balancing competing priorities such as work and family. Congratulations to all of the graduates for achieving this incredible milestone, and I wish you every success wherever your career takes you. Keep reaching for the stars. Sincerely, the Honourable Melanie Mark, Minister of Advanced Education, Skills and Training. Thank you.
We are pleased to confer the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree today. Dr. Jennifer Wallinga, will you please present the honorary degree candidate, Ms. Anna Maria Tremonti.
Anna Maria Tremonti is a respected and award-winning CBC television and radio journalist. For decades, Ms. Tremonti has been a beacon of truth-telling and truth-seeking. Her work has provided a public space in which all Canadians are invited to participate. In the communications field, she's our rock star. Mick Jagger, Anna Maria. Ms. Tremonti spent 19 years with CBC television, including as host of CBC's investigative show, The Fifth Estate. She returned to radio in 2002 to launch what would become one of Canada's most listened to radio programs, The Current. The Current is a national institution. It's deeply committed to the enlightenment of its listeners. Under Ms. Tremonti's direction, it has won numerous awards, including for outstanding human rights reporting from Amnesty International Canada. She's invited audiences to listen in on remarkable interviews with Canadians, such as Syrian-born Meher Arar, who was held as a political prisoner in Syria, and Nobel Peace Prize laureate Malala Yousafzai, who was shot by a Taliban gunman for advocating for girls' education. Amid the noise and distractions of the news cycle, Ms. Tremonti doesn't shy away from nuance and complexity, but rather investigates why such complexity exists. Her brand of journalism is premised on a measured approach to truth-seeking that is essential in our increasingly polarized political and social context. Ms. Tremonti's career demonstrates her commitment to journalism and how she encourages knowledge sharing, public dialogue, and social transformation. Fellow journalists have lauded her willingness to seek out stories that affect how we live as human beings, her fearlessness as an interviewer, and her focus. It's no overstatement to say that she's become a Canadian institution herself. A record of success in one medium is an achievement, in two, a rare feat. We are delighted to add to Ms. Tremonti's many awards and accolades, including 2 other honorary degrees, 2 Gemini Awards, and an Outstanding Achievement Award from Women in Film and Television, Toronto. While at The Current, she also won the Canadian Journalism Foundation's Excellence in Journalism Award. For her commitment to supporting the fundamental principles of democracy and social justice through balanced, fair, and nuanced reporting, it is my honor to present Anna Maria Tremonti for the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Yeah. Ms. Tremonti, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Royal Roads University Act and in accordance with the recommendation of the Board of Governors of Royal Roads University, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and honors here and elsewhere thereto appertaining. Ms. Tremonti will now be hooded by Dr. Steve Grundy, Vice President, Academic and Provo. President Alan Cahoon will now present Dr. Tremonti with her degree.
And you don't have to take it with you.
It is with great pleasure that I now call upon Dr. Tremonti, yes, I said Dr. Tremonti, to deliver the Convocation address.
Good afternoon. You know, I wanted to go to law school once. This is even better. Oh, I'm going to drop my water. Hereditary Chief Thomas, Chancellor Burney, President and Vice Chancellor Cahoon, members of the Board of Governors, faculty members, family and friends who supported the students, and most importantly, graduates who are here today, This is an honor, and it's a real thrill for me to be with you here today. And I'm really excited for you because coming to this very special university, you have made a proactive decision about your own future. You are here to upgrade skills and knowledge that you already have, or to shift focus on what you're doing, or to change directions entirely. And by doing all of that, you made a decision to look at your future and shape your own future. And your path going forward is yours to determine, and that's really exciting. And as I look at the list of departments and studies that define your time here, I'm really hopeful for you as well. Because I look at all you've been working on: strategic global communications, international and intercultural communications, learning and technology, conflict analysis and management, disaster and emergency management, environmental practice, sustainable community development. All of these things on which you have spent so many hours and worked so hard are what we as journalists cover. Those are the areas that are part of rapid change and adapting ideas that are shaping our world, and you are part of it. And that's really important because you will make decisions that shape a lot of that going forward. Now, I've been called a truth teller here today, or a truth seeker. And sometimes I think I'm caught in the pages of that children's tale, you know, The Emperor's New Clothes, where everybody knows what they're seeing, but nobody wants to say. Because we're living in very polarizing times. And we talk about truth, and there can be many truths, and there can be realities, and some truths are more pertinent than others, and there are different perspectives. You know the story, Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson are camping. And in the middle of the night, Holmes wakes Watson up. "Watson, wake up. Look up. What do you see?" And Watson says, "I see a million stars. I see the universe unfolding." And he says, "No, Watson, someone stole the tent." Both truths, one more pertinent. We are in polarizing times, politically polarizing and socially divisive. And at no time in our history have we been so technologically enabled when it comes to information. And yet, what do we do as a society with so much of that information? We ignore it. We push it away because it represents an uncomfortable truth, or because by knowing it we have to answer to it, or we have to answer for it, or because it doesn't fit the narrative that we want it to fit. But it doesn't go away, and it is our job as journalists to sort through it and find truths and to offer them up anyway, in the hope that true information and informed truth will prevail, that we'll talk about it, that we'll understand it, and that we'll move forward together. And that's where you come in. And that's where you and I come in together, because the more we talk about what is real in all its complexity, the more we expose the truth, and the more we foster understanding, and the more we can tackle the polarization and bring it back to a level where we can actually talk to each other. You know, every day I turn on the microphone and try to tackle some issues about truth. And you may think I talk for a living, but in reality, what I do is I listen for a living. I ask questions so that I can hear what people are thinking. I listen for their reasoning and their emotion. I listen for their silences. Because everything they say and everything they don't say teaches me something. And it teaches us all something. The more we listen, the more we can think. And hopefully, the more we can find common ground. You know, when I first started covering conflict, I got a lesson in how different views of truth can be deadly. I was in the city of Mostar in Bosnia-Herzegovina. I was in part of it anyway. And it was a place where you could not get a more stark example of a polarized population. You had Serbs on one side, Croatians on the other, and in the middle you had the Bosnians. And you couldn't reach the middle. The other two surrounded on either side. There was an ancient bridge, it was bombed out. Other bridges were reduced just to the skeletal steel parts of the bridge. Buildings were bombed out or they were empty. People were huddled together living in basements of high-rise apartments because that was the only place to be safe. And all you had to do was look to see how vicious the fighting was. And we would go to the front line area controlled by the Croatians. We were trying to get through the front line into the middle, and we could only get so far every day, and we got pushed back. And when we were at the front line area, we went to where they had the sniper positions on the Croatian side, where they would shoot across the river, where they would shoot to kill. But the day we were there were 3 men, a Serb, a Croat, and a Bosnian, all together, fighting together on that side, a little older, and they were sitting there playing cards, all 3 of them. And they told me that when there was a lull in the shooting at night, they would shout across the river at the guys who were shooting at them, and they'd ask about their neighbors. They'd literally say, hey, how's so-and-so? What about that street? What's going on? What's his name? Are they still there? Are they okay? It wasn't the image that I had of fighting sides, but it was the truth about those people who were fighting. And on the road in, we'd go 1, 2, 3 checkpoints, and we'd always get stopped at the 3rd one and turned away. And so finally we asked the UN to take us in, and the UN had an armored vehicle that was kind of like a little cube van, and there was a retired British general bringing in aid, and he agreed to take me and my team inside in that van with no windows so that nobody would see we were getting in past the checkpoint. And he told us if the vehicle stops, there's a ditch on the left side, you might have to run into the ditch because there might be shooting. So the vehicle stops, and the door opens a crack, and we think, uh-oh, here's trouble. And the door opens a little more. And the guys at the checkpoint start pushing in packages. Packages wrapped in brown paper with addresses on them for us to take into the other side. They were sending care packages for their neighbors. And I was so struck by that. I was struck by the humanity in the midst of the war. And it reminded me that not everyone who fights a war wants to fight a war. That people who care about each other can end up on opposite sides. So if friends can turn into enemies, then enemies can become friends. And if we listen, we might hear something other than shooting and shouting. So fast forward to another war. War also teaches us just how valuable information is and how there is such a hunger for truth that people will risk their lives to share it, to get it out, to let other people know. I met a man on the radio named Omar Mohamed. He's in his early 30s. He was teaching history at a university in Iraq, in Mosul, when ISIS took over his city. And he watched in disbelief at what they did to people, how they controlled people. And he was confronted one day by one of his own students who had joined ISIS. Omar Mohamed did not join. He didn't actively fight. He did something else. He started gathering information. He had a friend who was a doctor, so he borrowed his scrubs and he went to the hospital and he wandered around and he talked to patients about what they were seeing and what was happening to them. He got in his car and pretended to be a taxi driver, and he drove around and he picked people up and he talked to them and he learned more. And he'd go home and he'd blog about it. He'd upload these stories and he'd put them out to the world, and he called himself Mosul I. And he said, my city was being destroyed and I had to document what was happening. And he did that at great risk to himself. ISIS knew he was out there doing it, but they didn't know where he was. And he said, I knew they didn't know where I was because they kept threatening to kill me online. And he says, I knew if they really knew where I was, they would have knocked on my door. For more than 2 years, he did this. And he brought those stories to the rest of us. And he risked his life because he said, my city matters. I was part of an amazing ancient city, and it was being destroyed, and I couldn't just say nothing. I had to let everyone know. Mosul I was a truth teller. He was a truth seeker. He eventually got out, and a few months after we learned his name, he and I had a conversation. He went somewhere where he could talk to me. We could not say where we were reaching him because his life was still in danger, but we could talk about what he saw. And you know, he said some days he would see so many terrible things, he'd go home and he'd play music, and he'd play it really, really loud, which was against what the people controlling the city wanted. They didn't want it to hear any music. And he'd play symphony music, and he played a theme song from Schindler's List, as loud as he could play it. And he would just sit there and listen. And I said, why would you, an Arab man in Mosul, play the theme song to a movie about the Jews and the Holocaust? And he said, because I saw parallels. And I wanted to think about all of that. And I wanted to hear that music because that music spoke to me. He saw a parallel in the destruction and the victimization, and he wanted people to know. And we talked about why he did this. Why does a young man risk everything just so we can know the truth? And you saw this many times in Syria. You saw young people who couldn't get out, who started uploading pictures and stories at great risk to themselves because they thought it was important that those of us in much more comfortable places understood the pain that they were going through. And he risked his life to do that because it mattered so much. Finding truth, telling truth, sharing the truth, the desire to be told the truth is worth a lot. It's worth risking your life. And we get there. We get to the point where we understand truth by asking and listening and talking and sharing. And if we don't do that, we lose a lot. I just want you to think about that as you celebrate your great accomplishments today, as you take what you have learned here into a wider world. Remember to demand the truth from those of us in the media, from those with power and influence, and demand the truth from yourself as well. And please keep talking to each other when everyone else is shouting. Thank you so much for honoring me here today, and congratulations to all of you.
Could I now ask the graduates to please rise for presentation to the Chancellor? Chancellor, I present to you this graduating class of Royal Roads University, on whom you have conferred the degrees, certificates, and diplomas to which they are entitled.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors and on the recommendation of the Academic Council of the University, I have admitted each of you to the credential to which you are entitled. I have invested you with all the due rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. May you always be mindful of the motto of this university, living or learning.
Please be seated. Chancellor and members of the Board of Governors, we will now present the graduates from their respective programs. We would also like to acknowledge those graduates watching from afar. I would now like to ask Dr. Matthew Hines to present the graduates from the College of Interdisciplinary Studies.
I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Doctor of Social Sciences program. I am honored to present Holly Jane Claremont. Her dissertation title, The Underbelly of Economy versus Environment Conflicts, Tangled Sources of Tension in Renewable and Fossil Fuel-Based Energy Proposals. Her supervisor was Professor Dr. Ann Dale. Holly was a recipient of the Cassandra and Carla Sims Award, a Shirk Doctoral Fellowship, a TD Environmental Sustainability Scholarship, and the Daniel Fraser Bursary. I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies program. Margot Frances Bracewell. Nicole Marie Dolan. Donita Burnett Allen Derbyshire. Vicky Rena Ford. Jana Marie Forsyth. Lisa Gail Galbraith. Lauren Andrea Garvey. Paola Genevieve Gavilanes. Amin Gag. Maria Angela Claire Hamvent, recipient of the TD Environmental Sustainability Scholarship. Rayanne Kabadash. Carol Matman McDonald. David Charles Gordon Mark. Tiffany Barbara Lynn McGann. Hazel Meredith, recipient of the MBA 2000 Award. Leanne Renee Persicki. Todd William Pollage, recipient of the Royal Roads University Entrance Award. Stephanie Ann Pritchard. Stacy Ann Rennie. Jeffrey Robert Shostra. Patricia Colleen Simmons. James Joachim Simon. Krista Lee Watson. Yvonne Beatrix Zwach. I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Bachelor of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies program. Judy Nicole Carlick. I would like to introduce Mr. Peter Dueck to present the graduates from the Faculty of Social and Applied Sciences.
Madam Chancellor, I'm honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Arts in Environment and Management program. Benjamin Lee Alexander Clark. Jesse Lee Hannigan. The winner of the Shirt Canada Graduate Scholarship Masters Royal Roads University Founders Award, Norma Serena Hogan. Carol Diane Slaughter. And Maggie Susan Tompkins, winner of the Shirt Canada Graduate Scholarship at the master's level. Madam Chancellor, I'm honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Science in Environment and Management program. Timothy Asaha Fumunyam. A winner of the Royal Roads University Entrance Award, Brett Hendrick Carty. Carrie Dawn Cowan. Matthew Errol Otto Kavanaugh. Allison Cabrini Tyndall. Michelle Darlene Mai McKibben. Cassandra Lee Murphy. Haley Catherine O'Neill. Kevin Wayne Shantz. The winner of the Chalkers Foundation Award for Environmental Studies and the George and Marjorie New Memorial Award, Marika Leslie Smith. Carrie Ann Zeller. Now, Madam Chancellor, I'm honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Arts in Environmental Education and Communication program. A winner of the Shirt Canada Graduate Scholarship at the master's level, Ashley Dawn Bangsung. Shelby Ray Kalman. Emily Dawn Carswell. Grace Cheryl Lynn Friars. A winner of the Shirk Canada Graduate Scholarship at the master's level and the Dr. Milton McLaren Student Travel Award, Andrea Nicole Headley. Pamela Louise Hollingsworth. Julie Sylviane Holsworth. A winner of the Royal Roads University Chancellor's Award, Nicole Crystal LaRusso. Now, Madam Chancellor, I am honored to present to you graduates from our Master of Arts in Environmental Practice program. Douglas Fenton. Stephen John Mills. A winner of the RRU Staff Sponsored Award, Kelly Lynn Musselwhite. Fame Alexandra Taylor. Madam Chancellor, I'm honored to present to you graduates from our Master of Arts in Global Leadership program. A winner of the Eric C. Douglas Center for Entrepreneurship Scholarship, the Irving K. Barber I World Scholarship, and a Royal Roads University Chancellor's Award, Jessie Marianne Atkins. Giso Azam. Shaina Boparai. Winner of the Shirk Canada Graduate Scholarship at the master's level, the Shirk Michael Smith Foreign Studies Supplement, and the Royal Roads University Student Experience Award, Gary William Hayes. Diane Edith Whiten McDonald. Donna O'Brien Sokich. A winner of the Royal Roads University Founders Award, Robert Sean Wilcox. I'm honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Arts in Intercultural and International Communication program. Kasope Oluwatobi Akinkwuwu. Tracy Ukeme Amande. We have a winner of the Royal Roads University Founders Award, Michael Robert Brookhart. Ying Yu Jin. Grace Mombi Kariuki. Victoria Kovalchuk. Emily Jean Cass. Dustin John Lockhart. Jennifer Mary Patricia Lithgow. Maria Moku. Magali Palacios Morales. Jennifer Michelle Palfrey. Sin Yi Pan. Catherine Walsh Darling Patel. Wen Yuan Peng. Hai Yue Piao. A winner of the Royal Roads University Chancellor's Award, Elizabeth Ann Patricia Rudall. Xin Ruan. Jian Shen. Dan Wang. Jing Han Hu. Yue Xiong. Shubi Sharma. Yuan Yuan Xu. Madam Chancellor, I am honored to present to you graduates from our Master of Arts in Leadership program. Holly Marlena Adams. Jennifer Susan Adams. Lisa Marie Ahara. André Lionel Aubry. David Graham Bailey. Oladapo Oluyemi Bankole. A winner of the Royal Roads University Founders Award, Lee Robert Brachman. Randall James Bergen. Nicole Michelle Byrne. Melanie Louise Chernoff. Rachel Sarah Crane. Mark Glenn Crowdis. Samantha Gwyneth Eburn. Deborah Mary Edwards. Gail Olwyn Everett. Pamela Joan Feindling. A winner of the Royal Roads University Chancellor's Award, Natasha Lara Florence. Luis Gonzalez London. Rebecca Darlene Greenan. Corey Douglas Hine. Jennifer Lisa Helmy. Christopher Curtis Hunt. Joanna Kristen Jagger. Robert Nolan Kipps. Yaroslav Kiselev. Patricia Ann Kolodtaluk. Shannon Laura Kopp. A winner of the Royal Roads University Entrance Award, Lori Michelle Korchinski. Cameron Vincent Kowalski. April Joy Lagadin. Jeremy Jean Richard Landry. Michelle Dawn Lawrence. Morgan Lee Linehan. Cindy Sao Ling Lu. Christine Renee Malmqvist. Lisa Ann McKellar. Shannon Lee Overland. Alisa Christina Paulson. A winner of the Gwenlock MA in Leadership Scholarship, Melissa Amy Pilipchuk. Tanya Lee Patricia Ristoff. Laura Elaine Schwagel. Derek Mitchell Sane. Courtney Anna Alexandra Smart. Tyler Michael Smith. Leonard Orest Stelmaschuk. Deborah Joan Stewart. Lynn Marie Sweeney. Wendy Lee Taylor. Julie Monique Tessier. Kimberly Ann Thomas. Christy Thompson. Mary Ellen Tingley McLean. Patricia Laura Tinkham. Monique Kim Trudell. Megan Marie Vandervliet. James Malcolm White. Basel Yunan. Ndabe Zinhle Dube. Now, Madam Chancellor, I'm honored to present to you graduates from our Master of Arts in Leadership Health program. Olga Arsovska. Rachel Ann Ferrier. Matthew John McGurk. Laura Elizabeth Mummy. Tracy Lee Ramsey. Priya Sandhu. Madam Chancellor, I am honored to present to you graduates from our Master of Arts in Learning and Technology program. Douglas John Strabel. Gary Thomas Utley. Madam Chancellor, I am honored to present to you graduates from our Master of Arts in Professional Communication program. A winner of the Asper Foundation Communications Award, Lindsay Patricia Kwan. And a winner of the Canadian Institute for Health Research Award, Amy Lee Hurst. Madam Chancellor, I am honored to present to you graduates from our Master of Science in Environmental Practice program. Amanda Nicole Facey. Macrina Maria Louise Haffey. Lisa Dawn McManus. Christine Ruth O'Grady. Torrance Yorund Sandhalls. Madam Chancellor, I'm honored to present to you graduates from our Bachelor of Arts in Professional Communications program. Sadie Ann Atwood. Bernice Bochi Iadong, winner of the President's Scholar Award. Stephanie Monica Brown. Leah Renee Bakovi. Regan Hillary Carroll. William Ricardo Castillo. Kyle Gunnar Christensen. Marcela Janelle Lim de Ocampo. A winner of the President's Scholar Award, Siobhan Kashmir Dhaliwal. Rojin Gazemzadeh Mahale. Flor Esperanza Guerra. Elizabeth Catherine Harvey. Amanda Karis Horrocks. Dominique Jacobs. A winner of the Royal Roads University Founders Award, Bree Alexi Jacobson. Kalia Marion Mona Rose Knopf. A winner of the President's Scholar Award, Victoria Diana Colt. Also a winner of the President's Scholar Award, Jacqueline Rosemary Manley. Christy Lee Marsh Hennessy. Erin Lee McCaffrey. Danilyn Faye Acebes Navarrete. A winner of the President's Scholar Award, Ha Tse Hilary Nguyen Dong. A winner of the Alan Cahoon Global Advancement and Diversity Award, Mateus Kenyon Lount O'Connor. Mara Ama Owusu. Yevgenia Pavlenko. A winner of the President's Scholar Award, Tasia Lee Payne. A winner of the President's Scholar Award, the Royal Roads University Founders Award, Dennis Ashwim Ram. Evan James Basil Reed. Jessica Kaur Singh. Kendra Dawn Stoner. Tristan Alexander Uri. Leah Alana Varga. A winner of the President's Scholar Award, Alana Patricia Zelter. Jia Yi Zhou. Ling Ju. Madam Chancellor, I'm honored to present to you graduates from our Bachelor of Science in Environmental Practice program. Cole Andrew Nadellen. Now, Madam Chancellor, I'm honored to present to you graduates from our Graduate Certificate in Professional Communication and Management program. Nicole Ann Ames. Elon Lorene Cable Lind. Jane Frances Zatilny. Madam Chancellor, I'm honored to present graduates from our Graduate Certificate in Values-Based Leadership program. Mary Lou Newbold. And finally, Madam Chancellor, I'm honored to present to you graduates from our Diploma in Technology Enhanced Learning and Design program. Fiona Edith Prince. Well, Royal Roads University is proud to sit on a National Historic Site that offers such a beautiful and unique setting for our students while they are studying on campus. Today, we would like to share with you a visual souvenir to remind you of the time you spent with us on this site and of this special day.
Congratulations, everybody, you made it. Got through the ceremony, and we got to celebrate your success with family, friends, and faculty. You join a community of over 26,000 alumni of Royal Roads, and I had the privilege of giving you an alumni pin just to remind you that you're part of us, and your successes and your challenges that you face and things that you do as you use your education to better yourselves, better your communities, and better your world is important to us. Satisfaction that we get as colleagues and faculty is the work that you do with what you've learned. So remember that, remember the connection, remember to give us feedback when we don't do things right, help us to become increasingly to improve as an educational institution. You know, when we select our honorary recipients, we try to pick people who we think would be models, role models for you to emulate in your life. And we were challenged by Dr. Anna Maria Tremonti this afternoon about how being caring and being concerned and being seeking for truth in these days, the importance of that to remember as we move forward. So what's important is not what you took in, it's what you do with what you took in. It's what you apply based on what you're learning, what you've learned. And as you acquire the leadership roles or the roles in your communities and our society, we hope that you could take the information, the knowledge, the skills, the connections that you've established and use them to make this world a better place for all of us. Can I ask the graduates to please rise again? While you're up, I would ask family, friends, faculty, and staff to join me in applauding each of you on the completion of your program. You know, I saw a few smiles come across the stage, people beaming with pride that they had, and people in the audience celebrating your success. So while you're standing, I invite the graduates to applaud your family, friends, faculty, and staff who helped you along this way. Thank you all. Good luck. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you to everyone. That concludes this afternoon's Convocation ceremony. I'd ask you all now to please rise, those who aren't standing. Some of you are. You've been up and down. Please remain standing at your seats until the Academic Platform Party has exited the theater.